I have once again survived donating blood. It was not as bad as the last time. Last time I did not deal with it very well at all. But I am fine today. And oh yeah, I'm bald. So let's see. When is the next time I can donate blood? The next time I can donate blood will be November 4th. You don't want to donate whole blood cells more than every 8 weeks. And it's even longer if it's double, but I can't do double. Besides the fact that they don't need my blood type, I'm actually a little too light. As a woman, I have to be heavier. Double red blood cells, I think at the minimum for a man is 130 pounds, but the minimum for a woman is 150. And it just makes me mad because I was 150 for a very long time. What you doing? Oh, my boobies. What you doing, Abby? What you doing? Hey, Jolly. Oh, you get the tail. You can see the tail behind you. Look at your tail. What you doing? Oh. Oh. Okay. Whoa. My hand smells so good. I went into this store, this crazy like antique store with candles and everything smelled so good, and I actually started getting like emotional because I saw all this antique stuff that conjured up these memories of my great-grandmother, and it was a little intense. Just stuff I hadn't seen, like type of stuff I haven't seen in years, or just the type of things I haven't seen in years. And I saw so many teapots. And they were such good prices too, but just because you can afford something, that doesn't mean you should buy it. Oh gosh, oh my gosh, there was all these pretty teapots. I am still alive. And I have to wear a wig because I did stupid stuff and had like an allergic reaction. That sounds like I did something illegal. I didn't. I had an unexpected allergic reaction which involved my head and some unsightly rashes. And am I disturbing you? Some unsightly rash and it's just really itchy and painful, and my choices were either wear a wig to do this video or spend the video absent-mindedly trying to scalp myself, because you can't see it anymore since my hair has pretty much is starting to grow over it. It itches a lot, and I had to kind of take a break because I had a unexpected episode of depression, and yeah, it was kind of weird because I went to see the Dragon, my my temporary psychiatrist who's replaced the psychiatrist that transferred, and I've seen her before. I call her Dragon because like during probably one of my worst times, we just didn't see eye to eye, and she used to make me cry. But I went to see her, and when I went to see her, I was okay. I felt okay. And I told her the truth. I was like, I have my ups and downs, but, my highs and lows, but I deal with it. And that was all true. And I have had my ups and downs, but I hadn't had a serious bout of depression since last year. Maybe around the same time. It was pretty bad, but I managed to get through it, obviously, and I don't think anybody realized how bad I was feeling. But anyway, when I saw her, which wasn't a bad session, by the way, I didn't have any problem seeing her, but everything was fine. And then about a week later, I don't know, I kind of thought to myself, I better not be getting depressed. I don't know how to explain it. It's like It's like how some people, like, before you get a bad cold or something, you might have the sniffles or you might sneeze once or twice and you're like, oh crap, please don't tell me I'm getting a cold. Please don't tell me my allergies are kicking up. I can't explain it. I just had this weird, one day I'll be able to describe this feeling, but I knew that something was going to happen and I can't explain to you why, but I can't explain what the feeling is, but I just had this, I'm like, oh no, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And it came. And I'm still in the episode, but not as bad as it's been. But I think the frustrating part about talking about depression is the fact that it, of the stigma behind it, people still don't see it as something that is a real disease that people die from. So people don't take it seriously. Like it's not as valid as a disease as heart disease or diabetes or cancer. Number two, people say this one thing that I think is so irresponsible. It's one of it's all in your head. Well, yeah, duh. It's my brain. So yeah, it kind of is all in my head. But you're invalidating someone's actual illness. And the idea is if you just think positive thoughts, the depression just will go away. Yeah. Say that to someone who has cancer. Just have positive thoughts and the cancer will clear up right away. It doesn't work like that. It's my brain. Okay? And the other thing about depression is that people think that the word depression and the word sadness are equal to each other. So if someone is just depressed, they're just extremely sad. And yeah, I wish it was that simple. It wouldn't be a problem if it was that simple. Because then thinking positive thoughts and maybe taking a walk would help. The thing is, while sadness most definitely can be a symptom of depression, depression does not mean sadness. Depression is its own disease in which sadness is one of the symptoms. Okay, there's so many other things that depression is besides just sadness. Okay, and also sadness is an emotion. Depression is a mood level. Mood and emotion, two different things. You wouldn't, someone who has a manic episode, they aren't just extremely happy, even though feeling happy and good is a symptom of mania. It's not happiness, and depression isn't sadness. It's a mood. It's highs and lows. And as a matter of fact, if you took the actual medical part away from the word depression, if to depress something means to press on it, to apply pressure to something. And that, to me, that is what depression is. It's just someone being pushed down very, 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 very low. And sometimes I'm not even really sad when I'm depressed. I'm just low. And it's hard for people to understand that. There's a major difference because when the episode started, I was in a good mood. Like, everything was going fine. That's why I was kind of getting frustrated when I realized I was entering the episode because I'm like, now my brain does what it does. There's no cure for diabetes. You have treatments for diabetes. There's no cure for it. There's currently no cure from asthma, for what I understand. You're just treating the symptoms. And just because you treat the symptoms doesn't mean that you can't ever have an asthma attack. And the same thing goes with depression and bipolar disorder. Even someone who's receiving treatment, that doesn't mean that they're never, ever, 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 ever going to have an issue. The medication does help me cope with the symptoms a lot better, especially with my own awareness. But I think just the way people continually misunderstand what depression is, and I'm not going to talk about bipolar disorder, just the depression, is what makes it so hard to talk about. You can't say to me, oh, well, there are people in starving Africa. What are you depressed about? I'm depressed because my brain did something. I'm not depressed because my life sucks. You know, things aren't going the way I wanted to go, and it might make me sad, but depression is something completely different. It is a complete just dropping of mood, which is why you can be depressed and not feel anything. Some people don't feel anything and they're depressed, which is just as bad. My sleep is always so messed up because it's bad enough I have chronic insomnia because of the PTSD, but then all I did was like hibernate and that messed up my sleep patterns anyway. So, of course, I'm gonna have insomnia if I'm sleeping throughout the day because of my depression. And just so everyone knows, I continued about my regularly scheduled program. I still went and volunteered. I still rode my bike. So it wasn't like I stopped my life. Riding my bike didn't help. It helped me feel better during that moment. And it did help alleviate the symptoms. But there is no cure for my depression because it's part of me being bipolar, and there's no cure for bipolar disorder. There's just treatment. That's why I get frustrated. Don't look at me and be like, what do you have to be depressed about? My brain. That's what I have to be depressed about. Give me a different brain, and then maybe I won't be depressed. I mean, yes, depression can be acute. There can be people who are normally healthy and a huge life change happens that they have a problem coping with, and it's acute depression as opposed to chronic depression, or I know that exists, but it's still something to be taken seriously regardless of whether it's acute or not, and it's not the same as sadness is just a small part of depression. But I didn't make this video the lecture. I just made this video so people who mostly keep up with me just on YouTube didn't think I either A, decided to take another 3-year hiatus, or B, get sick or something. I'm perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine, except for the scalp that feels like it's on fire. Zelda's a cutie. I love me, Zelda. And no, I'm not drunk. I'm just tired, but I'm not sleepy. My body's tired. My brain's like, I'm still awake.